What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in. And in today's video, I have something very special for you. Today, I'm going to be interviewing one of my students, Joseph, on how he got his very first wholesale deal and how he's done 2 deals since. And we recently just closed a deal where he made almost $10,000 and I made a few $1,000s for helping him sell the deal and find a buyer as well. So this video is going to be super interesting because it's going to be an interview on how somebody broke into wholesaling real estate and had massive success. Joseph, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. So I'm excited to interview you. So how did you find out about me and when did you start learning from me?
I found out about you in June, so not that long ago.
In June?
Yeah, and I found you through your YouTube channel.
YouTube, and then you signed up for the REIScalers.com wholesale program. How was that? Was that good?
That was good. That was good. I learned a lot. Actually, I first heard about wholesaling back in 2013. I was working overseas as a cook, and then I was looking to change careers, and then I discovered wholesaling, and I was interested in it, but I ended up choosing a safer route, and I ended up learning how to code and became an app developer instead. And then it wasn't until early 2022 that I decided to give wholesaling a shot, because during COVID, I got laid off, and then I was coming across a bunch of wholesaling videos on my social media feed. So I started studying it, and I paid for a coach. That went for 2 months, and then under his guidance, I launched my first calling campaign in April 2022. And then 1 month after, I closed my first deal for 23,000.
23,000 on your first deal?
That was my first deal.
Okay, so awesome. So you found out about wholesaling a long time ago, but you chose to study to become an app developer.
Yeah.
And focused on that for a lot of years. And then it was 2022, you decided to give it another shot at wholesaling. You started a cold calling campaign. So were you cold calling yourself, or did you hire some cold callers, or what did that look like?
Yeah, I cold called myself. It was a small vacant list. I got lucky. It was a very small list, 400 records.
400 record list. You're cold calling it yourself, and you got a deal.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long were you cold calling for before you got this deal?
Just a few days.
A few days?
Miraculously.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you got your first deal and you made $23,000 after only cold calling for a few days.
A month.
For like a month. Wow.
I closed the deal 1 month after I launched the campaign.
Okay, so 1 month after you launched the campaign, it's 400 records of vacant properties. You're cold calling it yourself. Were you hand dialing the records, or were you on a dialer?
I was using a smart dialer.
Smart dialer. So you were calling multiple at a time. Awesome.
Four lines at a time.
Cool. Yeah. And then, now after you close this deal, you make 23,000. How long did it take you then to get to do another deal?
At that time, I didn't really have a system in place. So I felt a bit lost, even though I had a coach. He kind of showed me the ropes to get me started, but I was still very uncertain about what to aim for, what sort of
do. So you were lost.
What sort of KPIs.
Is this when you found my Learn How to Wholesale program and signed up for it?
Not yet, because actually I found somebody else. Because I was like trying to figure out what sort of KPIs to expect from my marketing efforts. And because of that, I reinvested most of that $23,000 back into the business to systematize it, right? So I hired a different coach. His selling point was him teaching a system that would largely be automated and that I won't feel lost anymore. And then he broke it down in a very logical manner that made a lot of sense in theory. So I hired him. I adopted the system, which included building a small team to delegate tasks. But unfortunately, I was barely getting any leads, and there was really no real prospects of getting getting a deal anytime soon.
Right. The most important thing is to be talking to new opportunities daily. If you're not getting opportunities put in front of you, you're never going to do deals. So
I was spending too much money too fast. I had a team I had to pay for, and I didn't have a proof of concept using this new system. So in a couple of months, I had no other choice but to get rid of almost the entire team, except for one employee, who's still with me today. And then after downsizing, we still followed the same system, and we still cold called. But the lead generation was still underperforming. And then I tried tweaking the search criteria. I tried tweaking the dialer settings, switching dialers, tweaking the script. I tried different code callers. No matter what I tried, the lead generation barely improved. I was getting on average about a little over half of a lead per day.
Yeah, so that's not enough. So then how long were you struggling before you signed up for my program?
So using this system, it went on for 14 months, but it took 7 months to get my second deal.
Okay.
Another 7 months to get my
second. So it took 7 months. You made 23 grand from first deal, and that only took a few days of cold calling. So you had success quick, and then it took 7 months to get your second deal. That's why I say to people, it's like a curse in disguise to get your deal too fast, your first deal too fast, because it makes it look too easy, and then it makes you get discouraged easily. You got to build that thick skin, because real estate is not easy. Wholesaling real estate, it's not easy. You got to put in a lot of long, hard work, consistent efforts to have success in this business. And so if you get that break too easily, it's not setting you up for success. So I'm glad you stuck it through, though. You get this second deal for after 7 months. How much was this deal for?
This was it was a $29,000 assignment fee, split 50-50 with a JV partner. Okay. So he helped me find a buyer. And then after I got this second deal, we kept on going for like 7 months with no deals. And then all of my capital had already been long depleted. I had to figure out different ways to keep the business going. And it reached a point where I just had to put everything on pause. And the reason why I didn't abandon the system earlier was because, like I said, in theory, it sounds good, logically sound. I gave it the benefit of the doubt, thinking that maybe if I stayed consistent, it would eventually work.
Yeah.
I didn't know the better alternative. I had invested a bunch of money into it, but it reached a point where I couldn't afford it anymore. So I decided to put everything on hold and to relearn wholesaling from the ground up. And that's when I discovered Jacob Blank, and I found your YouTube channel. Sweet. And then seeing your massive achievements at such a young age, it really opened my eyes to to new possibilities. And you really inspired me. I tuned into your YouTube channel almost every single day for a good 2 months. And then some of the most impactful videos on your channel have been the ones where you're talking to sellers and buyers, and seeing how you navigate these conversations, seeing how you take rejections. When talks don't work out, you always say, smile and dial. Yeah. One doesn't work out, on to the next one. Stack up the papers.
You just gotta keep at it, man. Yeah. Stay consistent. Can't shy away from no after no, because that's the game. You're just that much closer to your next yes. So you're watching me for a couple months, and then you signed up for my program, right? Mm-hmm. And how was that? What did you think of the program?
The program, I basically, I use all the tools that you recommended. I scrapped all the previous tools that I was using. I targeted the same list criteria that you recommended, which was the 15 years residence list.
Yep.
And then
high equity. Yep.
I went through all of the state of Florida, all of the zip codes, and then I picked out the ones that made the most sense for me to target. I searched them up on Google Maps to see how populated they were, and then I just started dialing from there.
So was the course very helpful? It's from A to Z. Did it give you everything you needed? Like, what did you think of it? Like, how helpful was it to give you a good understanding of the wholesaling business and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Because I've been doing it for a little while before I took the course, a lot of it I already knew. Yeah. I was really looking for, things that would fill in the gaps.
And did it give you that?
For the most part, yes. But you also had a Facebook group. So whatever.
Yeah, so when you guys join the reiscalers.com learn to wholesale program, you actually get into a private mastermind on Facebook. And yeah, you were asking me a ton of questions on the group, and I was answering all your questions to fill in the blanks for you. So guys, when you go through that program, you're not just going to be, left without anybody to help you. There's a group with a bunch of members in it that help each other out, and I'm there answering questions as well. So that was super valuable for you, huh?
It was. And you know what? Before I had a lead manager, right? I asked you that in your Facebook group. And I asked, do you have any lead managers? How do you have your team structured? And you said you don't have any lead managers. And I was actually heavily dependent on my lead manager to make soft offers for me. Yeah. Before, like, that was basically the vetting process for us. And it created a bottleneck. They should already
be vetted enough before they come into your system. And then you should be on that lead because it's hot. Make them an offer right away. You want to be talking to them on that very first phone call. Yeah, man. And so I'm glad you switched that up, because you're just delaying, you want to get to the source of the opportunity, and you were not doing that. So I'm glad you switched that up, and I'm glad I was able to answer all your questions. So amazing. So you went through the program. It filled in some gap information that you were missing. It put the pieces together for you. Then you were in the private mastermind group with all my other students. You were able to ask all your questions and get them answered. So now you're really rolling in the right direction. You're cold calling the right list. You cut out the stuff that was in the way of you getting direct to the opportunities. So now you're gaining more traction, and you got this deal under contract. So let's talk about this deal we recently did. So this deal was in Jacksonville, Florida. So let's talk about it. How long did it take of cold calling to get this deal? Yeah, give me the breakdown.
Okay, so after I made these changes, right? After launching the first marketing campaign again, our KPIs hit multiple all-time highs. The most leads generated in a single day, in a single week, and in a single month. And I made more offers in 1 month than I did in the previous 6 months. And in 3.5 weeks into this new campaign, got the deal. And then when together we both closed it just shortly after.
Guys, so he was following some other coach's system and wasn't reaching enough people, wasn't making enough offers. And guys, it's a volume game to have success. Like, a lot of people talk about, oh, my sales skills, I can close anybody. Okay, cool. But you still have to knock X amount of doors. That's just how it works. And so he said in a 1 week, he made more offers than he did in the previous 6 months, following what I taught him. So that is phenomenal. And then it took him 3.5 weeks to get his first contract once following my strategy. And you made how much on the deal?
I made about 10,000.
Yeah, it was like 9,300 and some.
The assignment fee was about 15 grand.
Yep. So $15,000 deal after about 3.5 weeks of following my marketing campaign strategy. So what was the deal with the seller? Why did they want to sell the property?
Yeah, so this was in Jacksonville, 15 years plus residence list. And I was targeting single family houses. So the seller didn't really have any particular pain points. I think one, he didn't need the house, and two, he just liked my offer. So he asked for $200,000. I offered him 165, 170, and he was okay with that range. But he wanted me to go see the property before signing any papers. So I said, this is what I told him. I said, hey, Mr. Seller, due to the large volume of sellers we're working with, going out to do site visits as a whole is very time consuming and costly for us. And therefore, our company policy requires that, we have a signed agreement, so everybody's on the same page before we visit the property and we don't waste each other's time. And then he was cool with that, but he said if we gave him $175,000, then he would forego that, which I accepted. So we settled on 175. I found a boots on the ground person on 123notary.com for $60, and then she scheduled the appointment directly with the seller. And that went smoothly. I got the pictures. I submitted the contract to the title company. They started the title search, and then I reached out to you, sent you a copy.
You submit the deal at jacobblank.com/dispo, and then we got all the info from you about the deal, and then I called you and we started marketing it. And I sent out the deal to about 4,000 cash buyers in Jacksonville. It took a little while to sell the deal because it turns out the home wasn't a single family like stick build home. It turns out it was a modular home. And so it was like a manufactured home. And so the ARV was a little bit lower than what we thought because it couldn't be compared to the stick build single family homes. So that's why it took a little while, because a lot of buyers, they were just instantly a no on it because they only buy stick build single family. They didn't want to buy a manufactured home. So that cut out a lot of the buyer pool. But then we found buyers that were interested a bit, but they were coming in lower. And then we decided to list the property on the MLS. So we converted the deal to a novation.
Even before that, we were thinking of doing a price reduction, but then you later suggested, we should probably pitch a novation instead.
Yep. And so you pitched the novation to the seller and said, hey, we need to bring some of our retail buyers in order to get you the price. If we're not able to do that, we're going to probably have to be lower. He was on board. He just wanted to get his price, and you did very good at pitching that to him. And now it was converted to a novation. We had it listed online, and then like after 2 days, you got a full price offer, right?
It was within 24 hours. We got 2 written offers, and we did a showing with a realtor and her client.
Yep. And then we signed the offer. It was a bit of a process to work through the paperwork to get it how it needed to read, but we got the deal all lined up. And then it took about like 20 days more, and then it closed, and we both got paid. I made a few grand, and you made almost $10,000 on the deal. So it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Congrats, man. Good job.
Thank you.
So I guess that's Joseph's journey, right? 3 deals under his belt, right? He had some different coaches, some different knowledge, and it was a struggle at times. But then he seems to be now on the right path. He's got it figured out, right? He has the correct model, the correct marketing strategy in mind, and he's getting more success. So we just did this deal. This was a few weeks ago when it closed. He's going to get back on the phone, back on the marketing campaign, and do more deals. And I'm just excited to see the success that you have. Joseph, any final words? What advice do you have for the people watching this video if they're trying to have success wholesaling?
Smile and dial. Then don't get too worked up over one lead. If things don't work out, on to the next one. Try not to overthink, over prepare, and overcomplicate it, and overcomplicate things, because that's what I tend to do. Just try to get out of your own head more and just take more action. Expect to make mistakes, expect to hit roadblocks, just embrace it.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Joseph was asking a lot of questions in the mastermind group where I was just saying to him, like, you shouldn't even be worried about this. Like, don't worry about this. Guys, a lot of the things that you're worried about when it comes to the intricacies of going after this deal, they're all a waste of your time. It's about smiling and dialing. It's about reaching more people and making more offers. All the other stuff is to not really be worried about. That's how you'll have success. So that is a very good piece of advice. Joseph, thanks so much for joining me on this video, and we look forward to seeing more of your success. Guys, if you like this interview, make sure to hit the like button down below, hit the red button, and subscribe to the channel. It helps me reach more people. And other than that, I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.